Hello, my name is Damon Whitmer. I'm going to be doing my PTR week 4 patterns and data. Um, uh, Again, my name is Damon Whitmer. This is for week 4. Bayes theorem, cost of the data versus the value of the data. As I went through this and collected the data I was collecting on was for Netflix. The Netflix for cost for the data is actually relatively cheap. Not only do they grab our customers' data as they grow and increase customers, their data becomes more and more frequent. It's also kept on their own servers with their own technicians and analysis that actually go through it. They have their own algorithms that they write, so there's not a large overhead that's not already been accounted for. Now, they also gather data from local governments, from their census and things like that, because there is a target area that Netflix shoots for as far as increasing their numbers and their sales memberships. So the value of the data is actually quite high when looking at it. Conditionally, depends on where it is, what you're actually getting. If you were to do it in the middle of Montana, the conditions are not exactly quite worth trying to hire somebody to actually go through and gather up the data as for a specific area like that. So the value of the data and the outcome. Well, to be quite honest, gathering the data is the worth of it was quite valuable as looking into an expansion project. The worth pulling in what would need to be happening, where we need to look at, and what we need to do. That sort of data for actual growth or international growth would be the whole objective of it, would be highly valued. So the value of the worth of gathering this data is actually quite good, considering the market is now primed for an expansion. Clustering of the data, if it's appropriate, clustering data is actually it's quite useful, especially in the social networks, and as far as looking at focal points of finding out local populations, different things like that. With the data I was actually gathering, I didn't see the actual value or the worth of actually creating a clustered chart on it. This is just an example that I grabbed from the internet. Got the link down here, right there. I just kind of want to make sure I showed, you could see value in this. It's just with the actual project and the data that I actually collected, I did not see a value in it. Identifying the correlation, between the numbers of sales for memberships for Netflix correlates directly with the amount of people that are the median age subscriber, or the person that's actually working, bringing in the money, will pay for the subscription or even multiple subscription. So they calculate that towards what the age is versus the age of the subscriber. Looking at the area, these are in the millions. They kind of it intersects. It correlates directly with that. I mean, the higher population of the working person, or that age group, which is between 35 and 45, it pulls in. Younger than that, it tends to go. You go out, you go to movies and so forth, so on. Older than that, you kind of got into a routine. I don't know. You watch VHS. I honestly don't know. But that's the age group that they look at, and direct correlation between that and the actual number of subscribers. Actually, cross sections here. Network analysis. Now, running a network analysis on a system, like a user, or the company, had a hard time trying to pull this up on just trying to do like a Twitter analysis of Netflix, or a Twitter or a Facebook analysis of Netflix. I had a hard time trying to actually get anything. Most of the stuff that I tried to pull up actually came back and wanted me to pay stuff. But grabbing just a social network, you see that in 2018 we have a huge number of people that are just on social media and chatting and talking, and there's so many different connections that you can actually have as far as mobile devices and computers and everything like that. That actually leads right over to in Australia. Netflix is actually topping the charts as far as how much how much usage they're actually they're grabbing from people. People are now are starting to move more to streaming data versus the actual network stations or cable stations. So it's showing kind of a nice little prime as the increase. What are the trends emerging? The higher cash flow, more people are willing to purchase things. Finding the right time to launch and recapture market is key. What do you need to what would be the cost? What would you need? You need ads. You need marketing. You need bandwidth. Cost would be little to no loss because you will grow no matter what you do in the market right now. They actually are growing in population, and they're at a point to where they're transitioning from the kids are they're having a large group transition from graduating from college and moving out and becoming separated and starting their own lives, and the jobs are actually sitting right at the about 60,000 is about the average. So you take from some fresh kids out of college, or even younger people, 35 to 40, 45 is where it is. So chances are you're getting going, you're getting started. That point is the actual population is quite high as far as that goes, and so no matter just a small little push, a small little investment is going to bring back money in fold. So where do you see this data over the next week, next month, next year? I'm tracking just tracking Netflix in a global aspect of things. It keeps on surprising a lot of analysis because when Netflix started to have its little drop, it launched a huge amount of money to try to recapture some of the clientele by launching exclusive content or content that they're actually paying for and trying to create that drive for people to actually come straight to Netflix for stuff, and it's actually increased their flow back. I mean, with some of the exclusive stuff from the Marvel universe, they have the different Marvel series that they're exclusively running right now. Is actually brought back up viewership. You're starting to see more viewers come. You have people who are actually just purchasing a membership just to get back there, and you're actually seeing that cause increase in other countries because other countries are starting to see the content here, and with the content blocks with actual Netflix original series, they actually can spread that out across their whole entire globe versus having specific markets that they actually can play their content in. So if I was to plan an actual growth or an international expansion, I would be hitting Sydney, Australia. After doing some marketing research into it, Sydney, Australia is like I was saying, it's primed to grow. It's not the largest area in Australia. It's Melbourne is actually the largest area, but the economy in Sydney is on its up down or rebound. So what you're starting to see is the population or the population sex ratio is starting to go up, and usually when the population sex starts to go back, starts to climb up, you start to see a lot more people purchase, clothes. You're seeing more people in the work market, so you're seeing a lot more free cash, and then you're starting to see the median age. It's sitting right there. The males 43, women 44. The median age person is averaged about 43.8. So you're starting to see that kind of point where these people right here are starting to get a larger population inside the Cumberland County or Sydney area in Australia. So you're going to see more loose cash starting to be spent there. This is a great opportunity to come in there and just kind of remarket it and kind of hit that hard. Why? Just looking at the demographic. I mean, you can go into another country, you can start, brand new and just hit it. But if I was to look at it and see, just running through the age groups and everything across the different counties inside Cumberland, I see an opportunity here that if we were able to put in some extra money or to have Netflix invest in a little bit more money, the market share here would increase, and we might be able to push out the market share of say Amazon or Prime or Hulu, which has been a bit of a competitor in the area here. Political concerns. Right now, the female sex is actually higher in population than the male sex. So usually when that happens, you see a lot more calm politics, a lot more calm, not such a high or volatile government or political outcome. You see a lot more environmental pushes for things. So what this shows us is this is a nice calm market or political market to actually come into without huge concerns of radical change or a radical upset. Climate issues. I'm just looking at the market value of Netflix here, and it's going up. Climate issues, as far as Australia goes, they have the same concerns as most countries do. Whereas Sydney is a coastal climate, coastal country. It's not. It doesn't. You're not going to be seeing huge amounts of tornadoes and things like that. But there's always tropical storms or different things like that. With New Zealand sitting across the harbor, as far as where Sydney is, you will see less. You're not going to see a tsunami or something like that because just the way it sits out. I mean, the chances of it are a lot lower. Potential of terror threat. Well, looking at income. As far as everything goes, anywhere that Netflix decides to go in is going to be a potential terror outcome. I mean, in today's world, I mean, a terror attack is it's one of those things, you have to kind of look at. One of the things I can say is Australia has one of the lowest terror attack records in the modern countries, as far as Europe and the USA, Brazil, Japan. It actually has lower numbers on that. One of the biggest reasons you don't see huge mass shootings and stuff like that is because the guns are regulated there. So what you do see is terror attacks with a knife or something like that, and even those are kind of few and far between. The government there is actually on high alert, just as America is on high alert for any kind of terror attack. The country is very sound as far as financial goes. It's not a country that's about ready to go under in debt. It's been around quite a while. The money is actually strong there. You're seeing strong outcomes as far as turnover from 2016 to 2017. You're seeing more and more growth in the country and especially in their industrial areas, which is Melbourne and Sydney area. So that being said, that would be my recommendation. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thank you very much.